I'm Will Sullivan inside the NFL Network newsroom with breaking news out of New Orleans. Veteran wide receiver Dez Bryant has finally landed a gig, and it is going to be in New Orleans with the Saints, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport and Jane Slater. They both are reporting that Bryant has signed a one-year deal, and according to Jane, he's going to wear uniform number 88. It has been 311 days since Bryant last played. We now bring in Rap Sheet for more on this story. And Rap Sheet, why did the Saints decide to go all in with Dez and not with Brandon Marshall or Kamar Aiken?
Well, my understanding was this was really about Dez Bryant. This is a guy that they have actually scouted, not just for the past couple of days leading up to his workout, but for months. They wanted to make sure that this was the right fit. They wanted to watch everything he has done on the field and just in preparation if they needed a receiver. And, of course, with Ted Ginn going down, they really did. So they kind of laid the foundation. They gave some of their younger guys an opportunity to come in and play. But for them, it was clear they needed just a little bit of receiver help. So Dez Bryant was always the guy. It was just a matter of did he come in shape and did he look good enough in his workout. And I know Bryant certainly thought that he killed his workout. Sounds like the Saints agreed. And then it was a matter of striking the right deal. And listen, we have been here before. There have been times when we thought Dez Bryant was signing. In fact, it certainly seemed like he was going to the Baltimore Ravens early in the offseason. Seemed like he was going to the Browns during training camp. Neither of those things happened. So there was always caution until you get the final word. Dez Bryant has agreed to terms. It is going to be a one-year deal with the New Orleans Saints. As Jane mentioned, he's wearing number 88. And by the way, even if we weren't sure just yet, Dez actually tweeted that he is going to be a member of the Saints, throwing up the X, if you could show that. That is about as official as it gets for Dez Bryant. He is going to be a member of these New Orleans Saints.
And Jane is joining us right now from Frisco, Texas. And Jane, you've had a chance to sit down with Dez Bryant one-on-one. What does he bring to this New Orleans locker room?
Passion. That's the one thing that the Cowboys are lacking and the one thing that the Saints are getting. And, you know, a lot of people have, I think, misunderstood Dez throughout this process. A lot of people have tried to figure out why he hasn't gone to some of these other teams. The biggest thing for Dez Bryant all along was never about the money. He has said it over and over. A lot of people didn't believe him. It was about respect. It was about the locker room, it being the right fit. And he had a conversation with Sean Payton during his visit yesterday, and the two really hit it off. He really got the sense that they were on the same page, that this was a coach that was going to fight for him. And talking to the team, they said that his workout went incredibly well. Dez Bryant has been putting in a lot of work in overtime with wide receivers coach David Robinson, working on the footwork, something that he had gotten so knocked on about his route running. That's something that he's been trying to perfect during this downtime. Now, the one thing I'm being told by the Saints is they want to get him down about 5 pounds. They want him at about 219. That's where they want him playing. But other than that, they were really impressed with his workout. And I think sort of an interesting footnote in all of this, Tony Romo and Jason Witten were also in Sean Payton's ears throughout this. This coach, this team have been looking at his tape over the last couple of months. They wanted to make sure it was the right fit for their team, too. They like the chemistry that they have in the locker room. So they wanted to make sure that it made a lot of sense for them, that it was the right fit. They've done their due diligence. They've gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of people that have worked with Dez. And right now, it just seemed like this was the time to pull the trigger on Dez. And so both sides making this work for their organization. Dez will report to that team on Thursday. We'll see if he's a go when they play Cincinnati. But I think Dez Bryant probably pretty excited about this when you consider that fan base is so like the East Texas hometown that he grew up in Lufkin. I know the fans are going to be excited to embrace him, and this is a sort of energy, the locker room, the team that Dez Bryant's been looking for and the one he needs.
You talked about that energy in the locker room. Obviously, they're coming off a huge win over the Rams. How are some of those other veterans in that Saints locker room going to be with him there now in their presence?
Well, I think Alvin Kamara kind of voiced it on Twitter. He was excited that he was coming. And keep in mind, too, Dez Bryant's not going to be expected to do a lot here. They've got a lot of already threats in the red zone. This just gives them another threat on the outside. Michael Thomas is still their lead dog. I think that that's something that shouldn't get lost here. They still have scoring threats with Alvin Kamara. This gives them some depth there because they've also got Traquan Smith as well. So Dez is expected to come here. He will be utilized, but the pressure for him to perform and be that number one wide receiver isn't going to be there. So he's really being set up to succeed. But I do think that having been in that locker room covering the Saints team, he's going to gel incredibly well with guys like Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas. Dez was always good with the younger wide receivers here, always was sort of a father figure to them, treated them like they were brothers in that locker room. So I think it's going to be a good fit. I truly believe that.
His former head coach had said Dez is a great player, really happy for him and that opportunity. I know he'll help their team. That was from one Jason Garrett. I forgot to mention Tom Pelissero hanging out there on the corner on your screen. Tom, I apologize. Yes, Tom is also there. Tom, what is your take on all of this?
I think one of the interesting things is we all look at this as Dez Bryant sort of selling himself to the Saints that he could be a valuable part of that program. The Saints had to sell themselves to Dez Bryant, too. You think back over the past several months since he was released by the Cowboys, he was close to a deal with the Ravens, didn't feel like that was going to be the right fit for him on a 3-year deal. He visited with the Cleveland Browns back during training camp. Same deal. They made an offer as well. It came down to Dez, and he kept talking about this on Twitter during his periodic bursts during all of this. He wanted to make sure he was 100%, and he wanted to make sure that it was the right spot for him. So the fact that he was willing to work out for the Saints, do a solo workout for them yesterday afternoon was something that was significant. He saw this as a place that he could really go have a positive impact. Remember, Dez is looking at this, too, as where is he going to be come March? What kind of a market can he set up for himself coming in now? Being healthy, being productive, and being on a good team. Obviously, things clicked once he got to New Orleans. I was told that he looked really good in that workout yesterday. That was part of what spurred the negotiations last night. They finalized it today, and Dez is now a Saint.
And what is interesting in all of this, we will get a chance to see the Cowboys and Saints Week 13 here on NFL Network.